Hello, everyone. Welcome to this progress update of our Centers of Workforce Innovation. Today, this briefing is focused on offshore wind. We're so excited to be in year 2 of the New Jersey Pathways to Career Opportunities, funded by Governor Murphy and the legislature. We're very excited to continue this journey where we build this ecosystem that knocks down silos between education partners and includes the voice of industry. We're happy to have representation from our industry partners, high among them, the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, who, with the New Jersey Council of Community Colleges, went to the administration and the legislature to lobby for this initiative. Thank you to all who are engaged in this initiative, our community colleges, our high schools, including our vocational technical schools, four-year colleges and universities, the workforce development system, and even career schools. We've tried to be as inclusive as possible because we know that New Jersey's residents, students, adult learners, and everyone looking for a path to higher education as well as greater employment opportunities need to have full access from all of us. And so we're just so happy at how this initiative has been received. So thank you for all of your participation. We know that in building these pathways, individuals will be able to get on where they can in the education and training process to improve their status in life and build a highly skilled workforce for all of our industries. Again, today's progress update is focused on offshore wind. We have an incredible workforce development or Center of Workforce Innovation engaged in this work. Our primary education partners are listed here on this slide: Atlantic Cape Community College, Atlantic City High School, Cape May County Technical School District, Dickinson High School, Gateway Regional High School District, and Rowan College of South Jersey. But they are just some among the many engaged in this work. As I mentioned, this is year 2 of this Pathways initiative. We were very happy at the results of year 1. We're seeing a lot of pilots of the programs created in year 1 in this year 2. And so we'll be happy to report out at the end of year 2, all of the students, adult learners, incumbent workers, and just individuals seeking greater opportunity, what their results are. So thank you for joining us, and I'm going to hand this off to Stephanie Staub, who is the Director for Strategic Opportunities as it relates to offshore wind and construction and infrastructure. Stephanie.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am Stephanie Staub, the Director of Infrastructure and Energy Sectors for the New Jersey Pathways Initiative. As Catherine mentioned, we're going to hear some updates today from our folks working in the center. So thank you to all of our education partners that she listed above. Here you see our agenda. We're just going to go through those updates. We'll have a short Q&A, some time for you to ask our partners some of their challenges and talk about their projects, and then we will wrap it up with some closing remarks and bring Catherine back. So with that, I would like to introduce Sherwood Taylor. He's our lead institution representative from Atlantic Cape Community College, who is taking the charge of the Center of Workforce Innovation for Offshore Wind. Welcome, Sherwood.
Welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Stephanie. We're really excited about the update that we're going to give you. There's been a lot of work going on. The next person, and I won't delay you hearing from her, is Julie Stratton, who is with our Cape May Tech Regional High School, who was really instrumental in year one, working with and pulling together the three experiences that we did that really focused on the high school students. And you're going to be really interested to hear from Julie. Experienced um, instructor, pulled the curriculum together and started piloting her things so she can give you some insight into some of the experience that she's had. So, Julie?
Hello, everyone. I just want to take you through real quick an overview of the different experiences or units or projects that we've been working on and share with you some of the different things we've learned and where we're going next with it. So I don't know. Thank you. Um, all right. So again, we were asked for the high school level to write 3 different experiences or collections of activities that we could use with students in high school to kind of bring them the information about offshore wind, as well as some of the different potential pathways that exist and that they could connect to um, for future or further exploration. Okay. And I think if we go to the next slide, there we go. Um, so we wrote these 3 experiences and we've been using them here in our high school and also with some other educational programs as well. And then after writing them, and we've been the teachers here at Cape Tech have been using them, then we started giving sessions to bring some of the other participating high schools in. And if we go to the next one, there we go. um, so with this, what we tried to do, because every classroom is very different, and that was actually one of the very first challenges as we were looking at this, is how to make something that could be modular and easily modified for different schools, different programs, but still be cohesive and also make those connections to all the other wonderful programs that are going on. And so you'll see in this slide, it mentions a 10-day project. Even that particular time can be changed. And so we went for the 10 days, so the 2-week time limit. But again, as you'll see when you dig into the materials, that time is flexible. You can take pieces and spend a little less time depending on your curriculum, or we even included extensions. So if you wanted to do more with it. All right, so if we go to the next slide. All right, so some of the different programs. This one is called Beach Town USA. So this particular project is set up to be a mock town hall debate, especially down here in Cape May and Atlantic County. There have been a lot of different voices. And so this particular activity, which is set up, it brings all the stakeholders together from offshore wind. So in our unit, we develop different roles that students can assume. Students would then go off and prepare and take on that role. And then they would come together in a town hall debate, each with their own voices and coming together to kind of talk about bringing offshore wind through a small coastal community. Okay. And you want to go to the next one? There we go. So in terms of our program, some of the different things that we've been doing, I teach environmental and sustainability. I also teach introduction to oceanography. So I've used wind actually and related topics in my classes even before this project. So I was very excited and already had kind of a foundation. Along with myself, our natural sciences teacher, she also created one of these experiences. And her focus was more on the career aspect. She had already been teaching marine, boater safety, and talking about careers in that aspect. And so she brought to the table, if you will, and used with her students more of preparing for a career as an offshore technician. Um, as mentioned here on this slide, in addition to my environmental and oceanography students, we have a summer program. We bring in our ninth graders and we show them some of the different careers and possible pathways within our high school. And we used some of these materials last summer with these students, and we intend to use them as well in this upcoming summer program session and definitely in our classes next year as well. A few of the item or challenges that we found in doing this, as with anything, because we are piloting it, is what sounds really good, what might even look really good on paper. Once you start interacting with those students, some are at different levels and some were more engaged than others. So we found some of the activities were not as engaging. And so we're actually working on updating some of those and adding some modifications as well to kind of enhance that, because honestly, underneath all of this, for all three of these experiences and everything we do, we want the students to be excited. We don't want to do something that the students are going to find or feel that this is work, because we're kind of the foundation and we want them to be curious and explore. So that's one of the challenges. And as I said, we've been working, and I brought my students in and they actually like that as well, getting to be part of that process. The other item that we know is out there, I use wind a lot, but not every teacher does. So sometimes finding the time to prep and integrate is challenging. One of the things that I'm working on and will be putting out with the materials that are already there is a little bit more of a kind of a greatest hits list, especially for the experience I wrote, the Follow the Photon. So these pieces, as we start to work with the students, will be improving and adding to what already exists. All right, I think the next one, I think there might be a couple more because the slides were a little, yeah, let me see. Yeah, keep going. Oh, here, this one. This was another of the experiences, and this is the one that connects directly to a lot of the other programs that you'll hear about and that we're working with, which is preparing for a career. Some of these particular experiences, we really like this one. They're very interactive. For instance, our marine sciences, again, for boater safety, she has survival suits. So students get to actually try to put on some of the equipment that an offshore technician will be wearing and using. We also talk about what it's like to work and possibly if you need to be out to sea. So they did activities to kind of simulate those experiences. So that was another one of our pilots. And I think there's another slide that shows, go one more.
So there's the slides start with the description and your partners, and then we go into what the three different
Oh, okay.
experiences are, along
Yes.
with your schedule of when they're being piloted at your partner high schools.
That's what I was looking for, was the schedule. So
yeah.
so yes, so we've been working on them and we're continuing to pilot them as well. I think that's.
And Sally, we will have Q&A at the end of all of our project presentations. So if you want to hold your questions, we can get into that when we're done. And then finally, Julie, if you want to talk a little bit about the professional development that you offer to those participating high schools to help guide them through their piloting process.
Sure. So one of the things that we added on is we've been holding a series of webinars, and they are recorded. So those recordings will be available for anyone who couldn't attend when we held them. And the first one goes over kind of an overview of each of the different experiences, and we dig into the materials. And then the next two went over a little bit more of implementation and ways to modify. And then we actually have one right there, March 19th coming up tomorrow, which even though it says that it's a debrief and reflection, for all of these, we've left them open. So we kind of do a little bit canned, if you will, at the beginning. And then a lot of the time is really left for anyone who's attending to ask questions, or to work on things like, well, my class looks like this. How do I follow the photon, or how do I pull the careers into my classroom? And also, along with all of this, my email and information is out there. I love to talk about this stuff. I love to talk with other teachers and other people about these lessons and making them better, what worked, what didn't work. So I always invite anyone, and please pass this along to any other teachers or anyone else who might be coming in contact with the materials, to give me a call, or give me an email and say, hey, I really like this, but I don't understand this, or I want to do this, but I don't see it. So always, please, you can contact me if you can't or aren't able or weren't able to attend any of those other trainings.
And with that, we'll bring Sherwood back. Thank you very much, Julie.
Thank you all.
Thank you. So first I want to talk about, you can advance the slide, please. So when we did our planning in year one, we looked at some of the exploration issues that we found were going to be important as offshore wind really comes to the area. There's not a lot that you hear about it as far as career-wise. So Middlesex College was part of our group, and they developed this 3-hour non-credit online program that did a basic awareness for people on offshore wind careers. And what we're doing for year two for the pilot is we're converting that from online to do that more in a face-to-face environment. So the offshore wind awareness experience pilot is going to be 3 hours. The participants are going to learn about what we're calling Energy 101, an introduction to wind energy, basically helping them identify what jobs are in that particular industry, and jobs and careers. We're going to bridge that gap for them, defining what a job is, defining what a career cluster is for them, and what training and education are they going to need to move into those jobs and careers. So as part of the pilot, we are taking that information that Middlesex developed, and we're converting that to a 3-hour program. Rowan College of South Jersey and Atlantic Cape we're scheduling 3 different sections or 3 different sessions on each, and you can see those dates that we have there for our local area, that we're going to be piloting those programs for the local folks to give them some type of exploration in energy careers. So this one is kind of important. It was part of a larger conversation that we had during year one. What we kept hearing from the partners and the education partners and everyone that was working with us is, where do we find teachers? Where do we find people who can teach this information? So we did develop in year one something called Strategies for Teaching Adult Learners. And that pilot we're going to bring back and actually do that this year. You go to the next slide. So Strategies for Teaching Adult Learners is an 8-week, and we put the term subject matter experts. There are a lot of people that want to teach in all of these different areas of wind energy. They're subject matter experts. They have the credentials, they have the experience, but they've never taught adults, and they would like to impart their knowledge on the new folks that are coming, into their industry. So some of the topics of discussion in this 8-week program are going to be what makes you a successful trainer and instructor, understanding adult learning. Adults do not learn the same way as the audience that Julie has. They're 2 different types of modes. So we have to approach them differently. How do you communicate effectively as a trainer and an instructor? Designing effective training programs. In a lot of cases, you're maybe given curriculum, but how do you augment it, or how do you make sure that it's going to be effective? And presentation strategies and techniques. You heard Julie mention in some of her things, they just weren't engaging enough. And that's the same thing when you teach adults. You have to capture and engage them, and it helps with that learning process. So Rowan College of South Jersey and Atlantic Cape will each do one section, and we are scheduling them to start at the same time because it is an online environment, so that we can group them and get a really vigorous conversation going with the participants. The information about registration for this will be sent to Stephanie this week, that she can share with anyone, and anyone who has a subject matter expert that wants to take advantage of this and hopefully then be able to teach for a community college or for one of our technical schools at night to deliver some of this training. It would be beneficial to them. So exploration for wind energy careers. Now this one is going to be a little longer. You can go. So what we talked about was, yes, we give people an overview, a brief snapshot of what it is, but then you have to provide more. It's like the old newspaper, right above the fold. You can see the story, but then you have to go to page 10 to get the rest of the information. So we're going to deliver this this program. The foundation of this program will be that previous exploration that I had mentioned. You can jump to the next slide for me. Right. So this is going to be a 12-hour program. The program will include components that will allow a virtual experience. So basically, we've divided this into four 3-hour components. The exploration that I mentioned before, that's 3 hours. Then the next part will expand on that and go into some more information about jobs. Participants will then be exposed to something we have called Youth Science, which is an aptitude and interest platform that actually walks them through some questions and then tells them on the other end what careers they have aptitude for, to give them that true exploration experience. And then the last 3 hours are spent using Quest 3 VR, and they're going to be doing an introduction to the wind industry and a product called a virtual reality product called A Day in the Life of a Wind Turbine Technician. And Rowan College in South Jersey and Atlantic Cape each will do 2 sections of those 12-hour experiences in our local area here, and you'll see the dates below.
And now we want to open it up to anyone who has questions. I believe Sally had a question earlier. Let's see, do we have anything in the chat? I don't see anything in the chat. Sally, would you like to put your question in the chat, or can we, Lauren, can we unmute Sally?
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Okay,
All right.
perfect.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
What amazing work that's taken place over the past couple years. So congratulations. I had one question about some of the curriculum that Julie spoke about, and just a question about when you talk about the offshore wind careers and companies, do you have people from those companies come in and talk about what they do? And
So the career awareness projects that Julie spoke of are projects specific for high school students. So it was the Follow the Photon game. And then it was the career explorations. They're talking about careers. So they're really, and then the third one was the town hall debate. So Julie, I don't know if you want to talk about if you've had any, I don't think any of those 3 were structured for employers to necessarily participate in, but Sherwood, I'm sure, can speak to the experiences that he's developing, implementing what was created in year 1 and then expanding it into the VR version.
Great, thank you very much.
Yeah, so just quickly to respond to that, the experiences we're using, we did not develop those to have actual folks come in. The 3-hour program does utilize some great video clips of folks that have these careers that we can actually play during that 3-hour process. And once they get to the day in the life of a wind turbine tech, all bets are off. They actually feel like they're climbing up in a turbine. So
That's
they really
that's
get,
so cool, Sherwood.
yes, it's great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I
Great.
can't do it personally, but the VR gets me. But
Right, but we could all watch it.
And we do have a comment here from Melissa Eckstein from Gateway Regional High School, one of our education partners who's delivering some of those career experiences. And she mentioned that they did have some offshore wind, career speakers at a career day that they had. So they were able to bundle their experiences with offering some offshore wind career specific programming on their career day.
That's awesome. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And thank you. And any other questions? Oh, whoops. I'm trying to check my chat here without interrupting the screen. We have a quiet bunch this afternoon.
I was just going to add for the high school
Sure.
lessons that we did. Again, we didn't have that directly added to the lessons. However, in the career awareness, one of the extensions that we mentioned is the possibility of doing that. I know that we've had a few speakers in who work in boater safety and marine operations and have kind of that was a little bit more of our focus with the careers. So we didn't have anything like that directly built in other than getting the students to start to talk about and think about what might be associated with that.
Right. Well, I am not seeing any other questions in the chat, so I will just ask one general question, Julie. And I know this, especially since you were involved last year in creating the awarenesses and working with our partner, education partners, our high school partners, in implementing some of these pilots. What would be your words of advice if we had folks who wanted to work with the local high school and implementing some of these awareness programs? What as a high school, what is a hurdle? What is the step? What is your best words of advice of being able to work with that staff and get those implemented? It's such a hot topic these days that we want to really spread the word among other high schools.
I would say first not to be daunted, if you will, by the task. There is a lot of information. There's a lot of content, a lot of different topics. The way we built the experiences, while we do all of them, we don't always expect other schools might not do all of them. And especially if you're trying to implement something, you don't already have something in place, pick one to kind of start with. The follow the photon is kind of the basic general energy and overview. And you might already have that in your school or in your classroom. If you want something that's much more standalone, the career awareness is very nice. It gets them talking about wind. It doesn't get into how the wind is made or some of those things, but it really does start to engage them and to think about just like not the VR, but like the VR that was mentioned, what do you have to do? We even have them like doing messages in a bottle for that particular experience, just to get them used to the fact and talking about, well, sometimes you are up here, you're working with a team and you're working alone and things like that. If you are working with another group or you're comfortable with your students, that's where the town debate comes in. And that's usually, you did mention the hot topic. That's where you do get a lot of other opposing views, but that's good because the students are hearing these things. They're hearing them from other students, from family, other sources. So it's a really good, and you can make a very safe space for them to start to talk about this and explore. And we did include resources that can kind of help give you, if you're not sure where to go yourself, because there's a lot of stuff out there. We have some very good vetted sources that are in there. So if you're starting this again, maybe pick one of them and start there, and then kind of build out from there. I don't know if that helps.
Excellent. Thanks. Appreciate that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sherwood, any parting comments from you regarding the center and the work that you're doing in these fabulous pilots?
I really just hope everyone will, after Rowan College and my colleague Bridget and I go through these exploration things and see how they work and see what the interest is. Obviously, we can circle back and let everybody know. But I really believe that this industry is coming to our area, and our residents and our kids and folks that are looking for their next don't really understand it. And the career exploration is going to be really important. And also the strategies for teaching adult learners. There are so many experienced subject matter experts out there, so many, that maybe leaving their industry for physical reasons, but the mind's still good, right? They still want to be involved, and giving and teaching is another way to give back, but they're not going to enter into it because of a fear. So when you get this information from Stephanie's office that we're running these, really think out of the box about people. Maybe it's hey, did you ever think about this? Take this class. There's no cost to you, and then we can have a conversation later to see if there is a fit, and maybe we do have some training that you can do. So I that's the thing I would like to amplify for everyone.
Excellent. Thank you. We will definitely share that, because I agree. Every industry is looking for folks, and we can't hear it enough. And I think there is a huge difference when you're talking about taking a subject matter expert and being able to give them the tools to be able to impart their wisdom on that, the next generation. So it's a great program. I look forward to sharing it. I hope that others out there are able to take advantage of it. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Catherine for some closing remarks.
So I know that this session is ending early. I hope you all think that's a good thing. Um, get some time put back into your day. But I just want to thank all of you all for your interest. Certainly those organizations and individuals I like to thank for your participation in the Centers of Workforce Innovation. There is so much work to do in this space to make sure that there are stackable credentials, that all of our training and education programs have industry value credentials embedded in them, and that all students and adult learners really end up with credentials, be it a degree or industry valued credential, that can put them in position for immediate employment in the workforce, that aids our businesses in thriving in this global economy that we live in. This is all such important work, and we could not do it without all of you. Certainly our industry partners, your voice is so very important, and thank you for lending it to this initiative. And our education partners, well, I can never say enough about the hard work you're putting in it. I have to remind myself how this is not your day job. And yet, because you value what we are, trying to put out to our students and adult learners, that you take the extra time and you put in the extra effort. So thank you so much. We have more of these progress update meetings. I'm sure everyone would be appreciative if they were just as short as this one. They won't always be. So while this presentation was short but mighty, we want to give you extra time and look for our end of the program year, which will be ending June 30, for our end of the year report outs, which will be coming in July. So thank you all for joining us, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. And I guess Lauren would have me remind you to tag us if you have any posts on social media about the Pathways Initiative.